My name's Chris.
And I'm Kristie.
This is the Washing Up Podcast, and we're back, folks.
Yeah, sorry, I had to take some time out to prepare for the Queen's birthday weekend.
You didn't miss much. Last week you didn't miss much. You missed the mini grand final, which was rubbish, and a bunch of other challenges. But, I mean, you've been busy.
I have been. You know, like I was making corgi cupcakes. Just, you know how much of a bitch it is to, butcher corgis to fit into, little patty pans? It's really fucking annoying.
We won't worry about that. Anyway, so you were also responsible.
Supposed to be corgis. Shaped cupcakes. Oh, fuck. Look, I just haven't had a good headspace.
It tasted weird.
It did.
Now, you also sent those letters off for Order of Australia that I asked you to go, so you sent off Tony Barber?
Well, here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
You know, my headspace wasn't good last week, and I was having a few, brain farts.
Yeah.
And my brain mixed up Tony Barber for Tony Abbott.
Oh, fucking hell.
I'm sorry about that.
I didn't want Abbott rewarded for being a minister for women, which he was, by the way. But I wanted him being rewarded. I wanted Tony Barber rewarded for his work on Sale of the Century.
And he deserves it. And I'm deeply sorry, Australia, but I just had a brain fart. Now there's one other brain fart I had.
What?
You know how we discussed Angela Bishop?
Yes, service to the entertainment industry.
Yeah, you know, she's not too bad. Again,
yeah,
I got the last name correct.
Oh, that's good. Is it Harold Bishop?
Unfortunately, no, because that would have been good. It was Bronwyn. And I'm deeply sorry.
Was this because of your love of helicopters?
Yes.
And you got
I think
distracted?
my brain just went, but helicopters are cooler.
I mean, look, if anyone was going to give you a ride in a helicopter, it would be Bronnie.
Well, she just jets about in them, doesn't she? Well, copters about in them.
Pops down to the shops.
Yeah.
Pops to the shop in a cop. Anyway.
It's like, husband, I'm out of milk again. Bronwyn, that's the second 2-litre bottle we've been through today. Yes, but I love helicopter rides.
And they go, chuk, 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 chuk.
I know, I'm just like, up we go, Jeeves the pilot.
Jeeves the pilot. I like the idea that everyone in Bronwyn Bishop's house is called Jeeves.
Yes, and he's the butler / pilot /
No, different people, all called Jeeves.
But she thinks they're the same people.
No,
so they've actually got different names.
It's like
she calls them Jeeves.
It's like that club in the UK, the one that Stephen Fry is a member of course he is, where they rename everyone when you walk in, everyone who works there. I think it might be Nigel, someone will correct me. But everyone goes by the same name. All the staff, everyone on the staff. So everyone, it's like, have you seen such and such? It's all the same name.
Oh, dear God.
It's very British, which would fit in perfectly with Bronwyn Bishop. So, anyway, the fortunate thing is that you came back to two, well, at the very least, interesting nights at Australian television.
Look, there was a great innuendo to be had last night. A lot of pie to be eaten.
Yeah, a lot of pie.
Just watching people eating pie on TV. You don't usually see that in prime time.
And then we get to broccoli. Trust me, there's a lot of broccoli.
That made me gag.
And then we also had tonight, which is what I always refer to as the Aram Challenge. Aram and Eliza, of course, forever made that challenge their own with Eliza's immortal reading of the Bard.
Amelia was channeling some...
She was Eliza
last night. Sort of Aram. It was Callum!
It really was.
Callum.
And all he was yelling back was, I have a cooking school, you know. So...
Hey, Amelia, what? Did you not have a cooking school?
She should have just yelled that over the top.
Yes, but what... How far did you take your granita?
I want the cooking school. Anyway, So we had last night's challenge, obviously. So we have the two phases of last night's challenge. Now, the first phase of last night's challenge was a pie.
Yes.
So they had to make a pie. For some, apparently, this was far more challenging than others.
Well, even knowing what the most quintessential Australian dish is was also challenging. Someone said pavlova, and I'm like, well, that's contentious.
Yeah, well, at the very least, there's a bit of a dual claim between New Zealand and Western Australia. But realistically, I sort of tend to accept the New Zealand side of that a little bit more. So it's probably a New Zealand thing. But there was this argument about what it was. Now, a lot of people on Twitter commented that the correct answer for the Australian dish, quintessential Australian dish, should have been fairy bread. I did want to see how they could make that challenge go for 75 minutes.
He just someone starts to Masterchef up the fairy bread by actually putting the colours in like some kind of like order.
There's a grid.
Yeah, like 55 minutes of it is spent separating the colours, which was a punishment my friends, I believe, received from their family.
What?
So when they get in trouble as a kid, they got half a cup of fucking like hundreds and thousands.
Yeah. And they had to
separate them in different colours. Yeah,
that's a punishment.
That's a therapy session.
That's a punishment and a half. Yeah. Although I can hear people who are OCD going, "Yeah, that's an afternoon."
What wasn't a punishment was eating them. Like just.
I would have just eaten all of them and gone, "Look, they're all in the one colour now."
I made them more brown.
Yeah, give it a couple. give it a couple of hours. Same colour, all sorted. So they did announce. Now they talked up the idea of the top 10, and this is the idea of the top 10 being in the top 10 of MasterChef Australia. And I did sort of comment last night, that find out who's not going on the trip because they go home, as opposed to those who are not going on the trip
because of a pandemic.
COVID and pandemics. So we have social distancing obviously still in play, except apparently when you run to the pantry.
No, then you can just be shoulder to shoulder. It's like when you duck down to the supermarket.
Reese and Tessa were running like they were brother and sister. There's lots of pushing and grabbing and shoving, and I'm like...
I guess they use hand sanitizer. And look, by that stage, they've probably all got thermometers and keeping an eye on temperatures and stuff.
I just like the idea they're using the kitchen thermometers. Yeah. They've got them all inserted rectally. Rectal insertion, so they can come past at any point in time, pull their pants down and read the dial.
Or it's like,
oh look, internal temperature of cooked pork.
Well, it's like in hospitals where they have a remote, like you can remotely monitor them, right? And someone's like, oh, it's gone up to what? 100 degrees. And like, oh no, Reese is using it in his syrup. Oh dear. Tell the judges not to use that.
Where's the meat thermometer? Anyway, so Poe put everyone into a bit of panic early on last night, but this was an interesting episode because there was no mislead in this episode whatsoever. Everything in this episode was pretty up and down in terms of if you looked like you were in trouble, you're in trouble. If you looked like you were going home, Simon, you were going home. So she started with this is my comfort zone. But amazingly enough, Poe's pie was fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it was quite clear that from the moment Poe started that, it was quite clear that Poe was fine.
I know, but Jock looked at Jock's French sentiments got a little bit put out when he's like, so are you going to use the chicken and the bones to make a broth? She's like, no, I just figured the wine and stuff. And you just saw him gasp in French, like, oh.
That was the first bit. And the second bit was when he talked about, because they had to make a sauce.
Yeah.
And when he said about the sauce, and Poe, paying zero attention to what was happening, went, no, I haven't gone with the sauce. And you just saw Jock look at her and go...
Was it Jock or Andy?
It might have been Andy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andy. They look and go... What do you mean? She goes, oh, no, a sauce. Yeah, no, I was thinking inside the pie. No, there is a sauce to go with it. And you just saw them go...
Because at first I'm like, oh, fuck, here we go. Here's Poe going again.
Now, I was talking to a friend of the podcast, Robert Harwood, so I need to get a reference in. Hey, Robert. I was talking to him today about this challenge as a baker, and I commented that I was a bit surprised with the way that they were filling their pies up with liquid. It looked at one point like they were swimming. Mm-hmm. But then by the time they pulled them all out of the oven, they were all dry. And I said to Robert, where did the liquid go? And Robert's answer was, using his baking knowledge, obviously, fucked if I know. He too was baffled, just like I was, with the amount of runny liquid put into that pie. And the dryness when they came out the other side. It was staggering.
Well, perhaps it was too... I guess if something's too watery, it's going to steam out.
Maybe.
You know, you might want it to reduce, but I don't know.
I mean, Poe's was really... By the way, if I was a doctor, I could sort this pie. I could sort this pie thing out. But we had the conversation when we were talking about that idea about making a stock when we had coq au vin being made.
Yeah,
and that was where Melissa turned around and said, "It's a no stock cock."
We're off.
And just like that, again, Melissa manages to completely win Twitter. We also had the most tenuous link to food since Indigo Plates.
Yes.
My gran's name is Pie. This is her pie.
So at this point...
Thanks, Tessa.
I just start laughing because she's talking about making her gran's pie. And I'm like, look, you're going to fill your gran's pie with meat.
And then they're going to...
meat into your gran's pie and serve it up to the judges. Like,
they're going to eat your gran's pie.
I think we should just be grateful it was a savoury challenge. Otherwise, we might have had her gran's cream pie, which is something I ask everyone not to Google.
Don't do it.
Particularly on work computers. Just don't.
Just don't do it.
Or, if it's your thing and it's not at work and it's not harming anyone, go for it.
So we also had it was really interesting last night with the audience, because what I was seeing out of the Twitter audience last night was all of the Bake Off people coming to the fore. So we heard phrases like rustic.
Yes.
That popped up.
Jock went full Mary Berry.
Yes.
You know, that we had people staring into ovens, and someone's gone, "Ooh, I feel very like this now," and I'm like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, this is Bake Off! Like every fucking episode, staring at an oven. This is not just something Poe does.
No, all bakers do it.
Like, look at Reese. He does it."
Now, Reynolds had a moment. It involved pastry. And so Reynolds is making his pastry. and again, the Bake Off fans just piled on top of this. So Reynolds fucked his pastry up because he had a boiling hot pan fresh out of the oven and cold pastry. And
what the actual fuck, Reynolds?
He puts the two together and is amazed that the pastry's all fucked up. And it's like, everyone at home's going, who watches Bake Off is like...
But even if you don't watch Bake Off and you know that you want to keep your butter cold, why are you popping it on like, where did even the hot tray come from? Like, why was your tray hot? Why couldn't you just get a cold tray? Like, why hot tray?
Why was it hot and cold? It could have been yes or no. So Reynolds sort of had... This is probably the most calamitous Reynolds challenge he's had in a very long time. It was really all over the place for him, and like when he served up, you could almost see in his face, he was almost like when he served it up, like, yeah, this isn't very good, but we're going to pretend and hope. And when they tested it, they were like, it's cooked really badly, and the pastry's really shit, and yeah, none of this is good. Sorry, Arnold.
But he gave all credit to where it was due, which is to his mum and his pastry, or his bakery.
Yeah, exactly.
People,
exactly,
at his restaurants.
Yeah. Andy was also like stunned, absolutely stunned, by the work of the springform release pan. Are they going to release? And I'm like, almost every time a springform pan actually releases, if it's pastry, if it's a cake, maybe it might stick, but very rare that pastry would do that.
Andy walks around the world with the wonder of a 3-year-old child, doesn't he? Like, will it? Oh, I remember these. They open. Will it open now?
Will it bounce?
Is it going to open?
It's going to bounce, isn't it? It's going to bounce, isn't it? We also had Reynolds and Khan on the same backbench, which they were deliriously happy with.
And then, like, I don't know baking. You don't know baking. We don't know baking.
And it kind of showed, because Khan gets... I think it's Jock came up to him and was like, are you putting those pies in the oven at some point? He goes, why? It's like, there's 14 minutes to go. And you can see Khan go... oh, shit. Okay, I'm going to crank this oven up and hope like hell that this actually manages to cook. So you had Khan basically panicking and upping the level of the oven. And you had... so Khan was celebrating the fact that he turned a pie out. Reynolds put his arms in the air and just about did a lap of fucking honour of the kitchen to celebrate the fact that he turned a pie out. And everyone was like, oh, my God, Reynolds got a pie. So, and I'm like, I kind of feel bad for Reynolds on that one. It's like... does everyone really feel that worried about you with pies? They're like, he served
just any
one.
baked goods, you know?
Yeah, it was like,
it's
again,
the same if he was turning out a loaf of bread or...
it always goes back
croissant.
to, whenever someone celebrates like the one item, I always go back to, there's a Naked Vicar sketch from the 1970s in Australia where they're like, oh my God, Val, you've done it again, a curried sausage. And everyone in the family cheers her dinner. So Poe's coq au vin pie was amazing, and especially with the fact that she put the cheese in the pastry. And Andy was like, well, that's it. I'm never making pastry without cheese in it. Now, I don't know about you, but I used to, growing up, I would frequently, one of the first things I ever baked was the sheets of puff pastry.
With cheese in it.
Cut them into shapes, put cheese in there, whack them in the oven.
See, my thing was whenever Mum had, like, scraps from, like, the pastry that she'd used to make, I don't know, something, I just use that and make, like, twists.
Yes.
So I'd put do it in a twisty thing and then shove cheese kind of through it. So, like, I'd get these, like, cheese twists.
You are correct, sir.
Puffy, twisty,
cheesy things. Not to be confused with twisties, but don't sue. Don't sue. We don't need a lawsuit. We also had a couple of weird conversations last night. We had the hard herbs were mentioned.
As opposed to...
Yeah, Is
that a special place in the garden where you get your hard herbs from?
I'm assuming so.
Or is it a heavy metal band tribute to the Herbs?
I just thought it was Dave Dobbins' band, the Herbs, and they decided to go metal at one point. A metal version of Slice of Heaven would be bizarre.
Oh, God, that Herb, that's right.
Yeah, don't do that again. So, Khan made his coconut...
I think I've lost a vocal cord.
Oh, not one. We'll get that one back. Leo can take it for you. As you can hear, he's all barking. He's saying hello to the audience. I had a problem with Khan's pie. I had two problems with Khan's pie. One, the top was under.
Yeah.
Secondly, there were peas.
Well, look, Khan, peas are horrible.
Yes.
I don't think Khan has a lot of experience with pie. Just something about him says that he's better at handling sausages and balls and phallic-shaped objects, but when it comes to pie, he doesn't know the ins and outs of it. You know, he wasn't sure about the pastry.
I felt like there were a lot of people in this challenge who were very unsure of pie.
I was disappointed no one did a labia-shaped pie, because that would have been cool.
What flavour would that be?
Fish.
I knew that was coming. That's what she said. So we also
flaky fish pie.
We also had Brendan made his.
You don't want it with a yeasted dough.
No,
though.
you really don't want a yeasted dough on that one. Brendan made a Mauritian beef curry pie.
Ooh,
it sounded
delicious.
Really nice. It looked really good too.
Mm-hmm.
We also had the beef and stout.
Which should be a good staple.
It should be. It didn't quite.
No, it didn't hit it.
Didn't quite. And we'll come back to Paul Simon. So
Reese's pie, I was really down for. Like particularly his sauce, the pepperberry, but the plum.
I felt really bad for the way Reese's pie sort of sank and fell apart.
I know,
but then Reese got through, and nobody was more surprised that Reese got through than Reese.
And I think they were very right in saying, we're shocked that you got the filling so right and the pastry so wrong.
Not what you'd expect.
That was echoed tonight when they were comparing his and Poe's shells.
Yes, they were talking about that too, yeah. So we also got a weird comment where they were trying to make... I think it was they were trying to make Reese feel better about himself. And Jock goes, it's not all about the pastry. And I'm like, well...
It's a pie. Otherwise, you're just serving up a casserole.
There's three elements here. There's the filling, there's the pastry, and there's the sauce.
Yeah.
And you've specified all three. Mm-hmm. And you specified it had to be a fully enclosed pie. And a fully enclosed pie... Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the way you would fully enclose a pie in the way they wanted you to is pastry. So therefore... Pastry fucking matters.
I mean, it was together. It was pie. You could tell if you got served that on a plate, you would know that's a pie.
I was personally just happy with Sarah Tiong having pork crackling on the side.
Oh, unfortunately, Sarah Tiong, if this was a year ago, you might have stood a chance, but wrong judges.
Wrong
darling.
judges.
And particularly when she did the crispy pork crackling, crispy crackling, I'm like, oh, Sarah, just the homage.
Missed out.
Just, a year too late. Granny's pie.
Yeah, okay.
Which is served with some sliced tomato. Which is a very Nana thing to do.
It's a very Nana thing to do. So I do want to talk about Josie Pie's pie. I know. Here's why I want to talk about Josie Pie's pie. Here is the risk. We talk about Nonna stories, obviously, and, Masterchef, everyone traditionally, you need a Nonna. You need some form of grandparent. A Nonna is always preferable.
Yeah.
But there is a risk. And the risk is if you make something that was your grandparents' recipe...
Yeah, and you don't have custard powder handy.
The judges... or offal, for that matter.
Offal.
if you don't have either custard powder or offal on hand, they might bag it out. And the judges just shredded it. And you could just see Tessa's face, like she wanted to bawl.
I know, like...
Because they're like slamming her grandmother.
Well, the thing is, it could have been that whole thing that you pointed out last week, which was, if you get a recipe from your grandparents, it's likely it's harder to, or they've had to adjust it because either the ingredients are illegal or unavailable these days. And possibly what Tessa's grandma hadn't told Tessa, it needed half a kilo of gristle. Like that really...
Hog anus. Where was the hog anus?
It was the hog anus and gristle that was really missing from her pie.
Look, it's the hog anus that makes it special. Say it,
holds it together.
It's love.
Yeah,
love and hog anus.
Bring the tang.
Yeah.
Bring the tang to the pie.
Whenever your grandparents said the secret ingredient was love, it was hog anus.
So, well, I guess, one Nana tried it. She said, look, darling, my secret ingredient is hog anus, and it didn't go down well.
I went, love.
No, I said love, not hog anus. Believe me, it's love.
So, yeah, Reynolds' chicken and leek pie didn't work. So that ended up with Sarah and Simon and Tessa and Reynolds.
Yes.
They were our 4 going into the cook. One of them was going home.
Yeah.
And in keeping with the theme, they went really vague and went, what's Australia on a plate for you? And I hate those questions because it felt like you could do whatever you wanted to do and make it fit. Now, to their credit, 3 of the 4 actually made something that you went, okay, no, actually, I can see a story there.
Sarah's chicken and chips, yes.
Perfect. I liked that. Reynolds was a really great story. I loved it. Okay, Tessa's was quite good too, but...
Simon.
Okay, so...
Doing it for the farmers.
Oh, yeah.
Again, I think you're a year late in terms of the judges. That might have flown back in the days where, the good old boys were in town.
Also, don't just throw the word... for the farmers in there, because you didn't really, it was so vague, it would have been like having a piece of meat on the plate and going farmers. It feels like the kid who hasn't done their homework and you say, what was your answer to question 4, and they've just looked around the room and gone, farmers.
Look, I'd like to believe, because I really like Simon this year, right, but I feel at this point I really feel the COVID isolation and being away from his family got to him, and he's like, I need to make this convincing of going home.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. How do I make it sound like farmers?
That stout pie, he probably just sat there and just sipped the stout while he was cooking. He's like, I'm just going to enjoy myself this last cook.
Maybe he was drunk before he came up with the broccoli dish. I'm trying to find that logic.
Too much stout.
Simon, we love you this season. We've been very open and honest about the fact we love you this season, but prepare yourself if you are listening.
We're going to
because this is about to be 10 minutes worth of broccoli jokes. So all right, let's before we get there.
We tease because we love.
We do. Now, before we get there, just quickly.
Yeah.
It was about what is quintessentially Australia to you.
Yes.
Now, I tweeted out, my correct answer would be whatever leftovers were in the fridge that hadn't quite gone bad.
2-day-old fried rice.
That's it.
Cooking it with a pork chop.
Exactly.
Serving it for dinner.
Exactly. I don't know. What would you have? Quintessential Australian food? What's Australia on a plate for you?
Sausage sizzle.
Yeah. Everyone pointed out that the Bunnings sausage sizzle would have been great.
Sausage sizzle, bacon and egg roll.
A sausage sizzle and a cordless drill.
Look, a sausage sizzle, a cordless drill, some party lights, this great, fern that was on special.
Pool chlorine.
And pool chlorine. I just stuck down there for pool chlorine.
Yeah. No, you went down there for blinds. Yeah. And you came back with 5 other things. No blinds.
Yeah. Bunnings really is like Aldi.
It's like Aldi and Costco together in one. And you come back with things in bulk and never anything in bulk you actually needed.
No. Although, so my nephew came over yesterday. He's an awesome hairdresser. actually really awesome. He teaches people and stuff. And he's quite young and he's very funky. Anyway, he and his lovely girlfriend came over yesterday and we pulled out the coastal cheese from Costco. I think we're the favourite auntie and uncle now because, like, the girlfriend was in heaven. So I think I know what we're getting her for Christmas.
Yeah, blocks of coastal cheese.
Blocks of coastal cheese. It's got to keep them cold.
By the way, just and again, Costco don't pay us anything. The blocks of coastal cheese are really fucking good.
They are. But, like, here's the thing, like, I found yesterday too, is there was a trap that we were both trying to avoid. It's to become the older generation who, one, ask the question, like, when are you going to marry? I really like this one. Like, I really do. I really like his girlfriend. And I'm like, one, I don't even know if they want to get married. Two, they don't need that kind of pressure. They're so young and she's still finishing her degree. And three, like, if I jinx it, I will never forgive myself. So I'm like, just ease off, just back it up, Kristie. Let's just stop there. The second one was trying to send them home with food. It's like we got very excited.
We did that.
We got very excited and, like, Chris made this beautiful lasagna. We had a special cake for them. We'll go into that shortly. And I'm like, oh, do you want to take some cake home? Do you want to take some lasagna home? Do you want to do this? I'm like, oh my God, I've become that person.
So the cake. And I promise you we're going to get to the second half of this challenge of broccoli jokes.
We needed a break.
I do need to talk to you about this cake. For those people going, get on topic. Go make a cup of coffee, come back.
This is food?
This is food, and this is quite good. So, it was my aunt's birthday on the weekend.
It's the 60th.
It was. So, and if you're listening to this, if you're listening to this, Dale, we love you.
We love you, Auntie Dale.
But okay, so we got the cake ready, and my mother ordered the cake. My aunt very much loves pink.
She loves pink, hates yellow.
Hates yellow, loves pink. And not too crash hot on seeing the numbers 6 and 0 near a cake.
Yep.
So my mother got the cake home, opens the box.
It's yellow!
She checked it in the shop but saw the pink roses and went, okay, so it was pink roses but it's yellow. And my mother then also put the big 6-0 candles in it, and when she tried to take them out, when she realised there was a problem, it was pulling up parts of the icing. I rang her and went, I probably wouldn't do the 6-0 thing. Apparently that's a bit of a,
tender issue.
Don't do that.
Sore spot.
Don't do that. So what we did then was we sprinted to Miscellaneous City Cake Shop, and we bought a pink, very pink cake. Pink icing, pink cream inside. It was actually quite nice.
Yeah, it was delicious.
Really nice. So we bought another one, but Mum had the original cake.
So she gave it to us.
She gave it to me to bring home because she knew we had visitors. So we were serving Kristie's nephew happy birthday cake for somebody's 60th birthday.
Yes. We tried to convince him that, his real name was actually Dale.
Yep, we tried.
We were trying to.
Didn't really work.
And he was actually born in May, not September.
Yep.
But it didn't work.
Cake was lovely.
Cake was beautiful.
So we got 2 cakes. Both of them were actually quite nice.
Back to work tomorrow now.
Okay, apparently. No one else will eat it though, so I'll just end up eating more of it.
Give it to the children.
No,
you can do that, can't you?
No. Nut allergies everywhere.
Oh, fucking
all right, so let's get into what you're all here for, what we are here for. I tweeted out at the start of the challenge, everyone protect Sarah and Simon at all costs. I tweeted out 5 minutes after that. On second thoughts, I don't think we can protect Simon.
He's out on a limb and he's the Leroy Jenkins of this party.
Yeah.
He really is running into the cave, just gathering all the aggro.
Simon decides he's going to sous vide his broccoli. It's called naked broccoli, and Jock looks at him like, what the fuck are you doing? And
do you think, okay, so he's a cauliflower philiac, but do you think he's a broccoli misogynist?
Well, they're the same family.
Broccolisogynist.
Well, they're the same family.
Yeah, but there's differences. Like, you know the difference when you're eating a broccoli versus a cauliflower.
Allegedly broccoli flour.
Maybe a broccoli flour. I know it's a thing. Maybe the broccoli cheated on him. Maybe he's got.
Oh, great! Now all I'm doing is flashing back to a Smosh video of Shane Top dressed as a banana, unpeeling the banana for the gender reveal and as a hot dog, and just yelling out, "When did I fuck hot dog?" Or again, Shane Top dressed as a banana, pulling an apple out, going, "I said I'd never go through your clothes, but who is this slut?" But maybe, possibly, there was a bit of.
I still like to think that he deliberately did this so he'd go home. He's like, how can I ruin broccoli in the most intensive way?
And what
Stage 1.
So what I appreciate with the way that Simon ruined the broccoli was he sous vide it. Now,
fuck the florets.
Now here's...
And hibachi'd it.
No, he didn't. He should have hibachi'd it.
Oh.
He didn't. So here's the problem.
I thought he did.
No, he didn't. So here's your problem. Here's your big problem, right? What you did, in effect, was boil broccoli.
And, you know...
Sous videing is just boiling, but it's in the bag for the flavours, but it's broccoli. It's not a meat or anything like that. So literally, it is the most fancy-ass way possible to boil broccoli.
Yes. Now, Simon v. Reynolds here, okay? Simon was just focusing on, like, the broccoli, while over in Reynolds' corner, Magic Man is doing his magic thing. Like,
he's trying to make it look like the opera house.
He's like, I need to do the opera house. I mean, what he served up was still pretty fantastic, but still he's like, I've got 60 minutes, what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a fucking opera house.
Make a cherry ripe or something, the opera house.
Yeah. Simon, on the other hand, I'm going to make some broccoli.
I'm going to boil this broccoli. so the problem, I sort of think what happened to Simon was people at times live the gimmick. And we've talked about the idea of, the dessert king or whatever titles. Dumpling king, who's also apparently the pancake guy. We'll talk about all this in a minute. I think Simon got so in his own head about vegetables.
Yeah, like, I need to do the veggies.
That he lived the gimmick so deeply that he basically talked himself into an elimination by, rather than stretching out... I had someone who tweeted me today who said they were happy that Simon went home because they thought he was such a fake, because while he was talking about all this vegan food, occasionally he was making meat. And I'm like... But he's never actually said he's a vegan. He said he likes cooking vegan food.
Yes.
He likes cooking vegetables. He's never claimed to be purely vegan. And I thought that...
And you can be Muslim and still cook food that is not halal.
And we've seen through this series of Masterchef, but other people trying foods for people and going, like, give it a bit more flavour. We saw it in Bake Off, where people were, we had vegans again.
And vegans, were vegans, and he was cooking, I think, pork at some point.
And as opposed to last week where they made the vegan eat chicken.
Which just gets the goat.
But it wasn't a goat, it was chicken. But thank you very much. But I thought that, I thought that Simon was so into the gimmick about the broccoli that he just sort of forgot that it was a contest.
He forgot that this is an elimination, and it's all well and good to go, I just want to showcase the broccoli and just, bring it back, make it simple.
What I was worried about was he boiled it for that long and was shocked at the way it turned out. Now, here's the only way he might have survived.
How?
And you pointed this out on Twitter. Yes. What is your experience of Australia on a plate was the question. Mm-hmm. So, what Simon served
was my experience of my childhood, where
with a lot of people's vegetable experience.
Where your parents have boiled that fucking broccoli to, I don't even want to say an inch within its life.
It was past.
It was past. It was dead. It was flaccid. It was grey.
Somebody was trying to provide CPR.
Oh my God, the smell of overboiled vegetables, that was the... Oh.
See, and broccoli's my favourite vegetable. Oh. Broccoli's my favourite vegetable, but I was looking at that last night going, shit.
It was grey.
It looked horrible.
It was flaccid. It was really disappointing.
I've never seen Jock look at something like that. He
looked at the bowl. To try and eat that.
He looked at the bowl and he held the bowl up and just looked at the other judges and went, here's my problem. Reynolds did all of that other shit, regardless of how much of it worked and where there might have been problems, in 60 minutes.
Yep.
Simon did this.
And the sous vide, right? You're not even having to do anything while something's being sous vide. You can walk the fuck away. That's why Innova has an app that you could go into your garage and start tinkering in your car, look down and make sure it's all, sous videing along fine by your app, because you don't actually have to physically be there doing it. And this is why I really believe Simon's like, fuck it, I want to go home, fuck this pandemic, fuck this, and we're not getting our trip to fucking wherever they were going.
What I also loved was...
We'll find out next year when that comes up.
It was the way that Simon turned around and went, it might be overcooked. And I'm like, might be?
What gives you that impression?
I mean, you boiled Kermit, man.
I'm surprised it didn't like...
It's not easy being green.
It really isn't. But this wasn't green, it was grey.
Yeah.
It was... I'm surprised that when he didn't remove the plastic, it just didn't disintegrate into like it's micrological, molecular form.
I went to the fridge and opened up the crisper, and we had some vegetables that needed to go out. It was midnight last night, and we had a florid of broccoli that I think has been there for maybe a month.
Because I was going to make veggie stock, and then I got sick.
Yeah, it looked like it was in far better quality and far better condition than the broccoli Kermit hybrid that Simon had sous vide to death and tried to plate up. And look, as
if you'd just said, look, this reminds me of my aunt who would boil broccoli so far. This to me is Australia on a plate. Because I've managed to keep all the nutrients in it by vacuum sealing.
It was rare. I think it was the biggest thing with the whole challenge was we love Simon.
Captured the grade.
Yeah, we love Simon, and he's done so well this season. And he's really, I actually think he's done better than he got further last season, but I think he's done better this season.
Yeah.
But by the same token, there wasn't a question last night, and I think even Simon. When he sits down to watch it again, he'll be, first of all, I think he'll be gutted because he'll look at it and go, I was actually a genuine chance in this contest. Yeah. But I also think he'll sit down, if he was watching last night, I've got every feeling that Simon would have sat back, looked at it and gone, what the fuck was that? And just started laughing. Because there's nothing else you could do.
I am convinced he threw this deliberately to go home. Like, how can I make it look like I'm trying, but actually not trying and just keeping on drinking stout? That's where I think he's at.
And the problem was that Tessa nearly tried to fuck it all up.
Yeah.
Because she braised pork belly in the slow cooker.
She was probably trying the same thing. They're probably like, I miss my family so much. This is not worth it. I need to get home and just be with my family. She's like, I know, I'll undercook pork.
And I talked about the idea.
I'm like, I see you, and I raise you broccoli.
I see you. Maybe this pork will be a bit out of it, and I raise you. This broccoli is broken down into molecular components.
You know what he should have done at the end of it? Just thrown it in a blender and added some more leafy greens and just said, Australia on a plate. It's Boost juice.
Janine Ailes comes staggering out of the corner.
He's just got some wheatgrass, some fucking protein powder, some yogurt.
Or
I just said yogurt.
He could have gone back to
English.
One of the was it the Duncombe's or one of those commercials, and they used to have part of it where they're trying to advertise how good their snack tastes, and the thing, hey kids, here it is for you. Broccoli on a biscuit. And they tried to do that to then sell their Duncombe's or whatever it was. Yeah. But the problem was I always used to be really tickled by the phrase broccoli on a biscuit. So...
Hey, baby, you want some broccoli on a biscuit?
So here's the thing. Some of you might go, well, you know, when you're younger, you do repeat those phrases. I was at university and I did sit there for about an hour at one point just going, broccoli on a biscuit. Because it was tickling me so much. It wasn't tickling the rest of the family. To be fair, I did a few things like that. There was the night I got thrown into the backyard in the middle of winter. They had the nets that you carry like a bag of soccer balls. So the big ones you carry all the soccer balls in. I may have been put into one of those and thrown in the backyard because one night I just started singing the song that doesn't end. And I kept going. So in the middle of winter, my father put me in the bag and threw me into the backyard.
You should be glad this. Like,
I lay on the lawn.
Spartan. You would have been left out and exposed.
I laid on the lawn for another 25 minutes and kept singing to prove my point. Because you've met me.
This is how you get asthma.
This is how you want asthma. This is how you get asthma. So
I know. I have met you. And I married it.
My problem is they were talking about when the judges were trying to be nice about Simon's dish, and they asked the question, is this top 10 worthy? My comment was, in a regular season, it's not top 24 worthy.
Like, you don't even get to the audition with that dish.
You only appear on the auditions as one of the audience members clapping and cheering. You don't even get shown inside with the judges.
No!
You are what Aldo was without actually going in.
Yes.
You know, the year that Aldo was outside high-fiving everybody at their audition.
You were in a montage
Yeah.
for like 2 seconds.
You weren't even in the montage of mediocrity. You were in the montage of, I'm sorry, it's not for you.
Yeah.
So Simon goes home, which was a bit disappointing.
Yeah.
But again, he leaves the contest, as he would probably like to, broccoli. That leads us to tonight, and they were advertising what's behind the wall. And the answer is, well, we know they do this every year.
Each other.
This is the Aram Challenge. Now, we had a bit of an argument, not with us, but with a couple of people on Twitter. They called it Twins.
Which is a great name. I think that actually makes more sense.
I don't believe they've ever called it Twins. Some of them, they've always called it Twins. I feel like if George Columbaris had used the word twins, Twitter would remember it.
And we'd hear the word twinning.
No, I'm fairly certain that they used to just call it the Wall or the Great Wall, and I understand why you don't call it the Great Wall, and I agree with that 100%.
And I'm pretty sure that's why they would have changed it, because I'm sure it was used one year, and people are like, that's just a bit on the nose.
Yeah, they called it the Great Wall. But they could have just called it the Wall, which is what they called it on all of the advertising for the episode, and then this is what we call Twins, and it's like, I don't remember that ever being called Twins.
Now, you aren't a fan of this challenge.
I hate this challenge.
Whereas I'm kind of like, yeah, fuck it. Do it. Wild card. Mix it up. Throw people in elimination who might not be there and make them battle it out.
See, I think there's a couple of reasons why I'm not a fan of this challenge. The first one is poor Aram. Now, I did once get to ask Aram about this challenge, and it haunts the poor guy.
No,
he genuinely had issues with hearing, and so Eliza's screaming Aram, 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 Aram. The poor bastard was just like, he could hardly hear it for a start.
Look, that would
and
be
secondly,
me too.
Everyone was shouting, and so he couldn't tune any of the competition in.
No.
I feel like, and we've talked about it previously, there's a bit of a disadvantage there in terms of hearing. There's a bit of a disadvantage in terms of background if English wasn't necessarily a first language. There can be a bit of a problem there because you've got to be really vivid with your communication.
Or you're an introvert and a deep thinker like Reynolds.
Or you're like Reynolds and you do all your dishes in your head, or you're Poe and you just fucking let the mood take you. And boy, didn't Poe let the mood take her a few times.
What do you mean we're bruleeing it? Oh, we shouldn't I didn't say that out my face. What, you're bruleing, Reese? Oh, okay, Susie, darling, I'll go get it.
Poor Red. I felt so bad for poor Reese.
Yeah.
When they paired them together, and I mean, look, Reese was having a bit of a night too. They introduced the concept of twinning. They talked about the idea of pairing them up. They went, so now we're going to go pair them up. And Reese goes, oh, we're getting into pairs.
But this is where... Oh, here we go. So I remember. So when Jock and Andy went and took the pastries out of the fridge because, you know, they're judges and have to do annoying things like that, to compare them together, right? Yeah. And they're like, oh, this one's uneven. They were pointing at Reese's. So that shows you that Poe's actually got a lot more technique with pastry. Reese is still getting there. I don't think he's as hardcore a baker as Poe is.
Oh, no one's as hardcore a baker as Poe is.
No.
I know people on Bake Off who aren't as hardcore bakers as Poe is. I thought... I'm going to start with the judges in this challenge, though.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to go out on a limb. This is close to the worst the judges have been in the whole series tonight.
Yeah.
I did not like them one iota in this challenge.
Well, they had nothing to add.
I thought Andy and Jock let loose in the kitchen in particular.
Yeah.
Were really... Andy needs to stop yelling out across the top what people are saying.
Yeah, because that's cheating.
If it is about communication, and so it's about what the challenge is about. Mm-hmm. I personally, this is my personal belief, I don't think this has any reality link to cooking whatsoever.
No, it's like the memory challenges.
I don't think it's got any relationship to skill, including communication skills.
Because communication in a kitchen, like a commercial kitchen, would be vastly different to
this. Yelling over the top of something you can't see.
Yeah.
And it would be a lot more talking about what you're looking at rather than yelling at things over the top of a wall. But with that in mind, if you're going to make it about that communication... One of the judges shouldn't be echoing and thinking he's being funny, but in reality relaying instructions louder than the first person did, which Andy did 3 or 4 times.
He did, and I'm really glad to see, that's just Andy being Andy, but I know that they're scrambling to build a season mid-shoot in a pandemic when things are being thrown out the window. Now, I agree with you that this competition or this particular challenge probably would have come up. But I'm just, part of me is like, well, was there like an outdoor like group activity or something else going on that they had to quickly swap it for?
Maybe. The only thing I'd say with that is I feel like last week was the week where they did all that. So I feel like last week was the week where...
They just had to get something else.
They basically ticked over some challenges. They did on the Thursday night, and I mentioned it on the Insta Live, but for those who didn't see the Insta Live, I felt that the mini grand final thing they did was actually them testing to see what a grand final without people would look like. Yeah. And to get a bit of a vibe as to how they might have to do it differently. That was clever. I didn't like the challenges per se, but I thought it was clever to test it.
Absolutely.
So that makes sense.
It was a filler.
Uncharted waters.
Exactly. And considering, like all of us, whether you're in the health industry, if you're in the retail industry, anything, you had to scramble quickly. And I think that the producers and the editors and all the crew did very well. I mean...
they scrambled well.
Yeah. Was it brilliant television? I don't know. I didn't watch it.
It wasn't.
Okay. But was it terrible television?
It wasn't abhorrent. It was can this end now television.
Yeah.
Because everyone, when they got to the third challenge, to give you an idea, when they got to the third challenge of the mini grand final, Twitter's reaction was, oh, fuck, there's a third one.
Yeah. So... It was, but if you'd have known that these people probably had 1 to 2 weeks to put that shit together, you'd be impressed.
It was a filler week, and it sort of did its job. Everyone, I think, gave them a pass last week because everyone worked out what they were doing. Mm-hmm. This week, and my thing with this challenge is that they went with a known challenge.
Yeah.
I know it's 3 new judges, but they went with a known challenge. So
and renamed it. But claimed it had already been around.
But claimed it was always the same, but it was also new. But it was
twinning makes more sense.
Makes more sense, and it's far more into the hashtag culture.
And much better than hashtag samesies.
Hashtag fucking hell. Hashtag samesies. Now, what did worry me about the communication more than anything else? There was one thing in particular, and it was deeply concerning. Was the start of the fucking challenge because they said to them the simple task was you're picking a cloche. And whoever matches the cloche is your partner. Well, didn't we get some of the most convoluted third in from the back row in the corner with the front with the upside, turn the left cloche top side upwards.
Well, it's because they didn't number the cloches.
No.
And they didn't have different cloches or different colours.
Everyone had a different vibe as to how they were explaining it. And I'm like, it's a good thing this isn't a challenge where you've got to be detailed in explaining things, is it? Because you can just see the judges were like, should have numbered this shit, shouldn't we? Yeah. And it was like you got, I'll take the one middle, the third in the middle. I'll take the back row, 4 in from the left. I'll take the one third in from the right on the upside. It's like, you can see the judges.
I'll take the one fourth from my left.
Yeah.
Which is Khan's.
I'll take the one third on the inverse from the rear at the back.
I'll take the J9, thank you.
I'll have the same...
It's not even a row J.
I'll have the
J9, thank you.
I'll have the same one that Callum has. Just give me that one. I thought some of the pairings were actually... the pairings were quite interesting.
Sorry. You mentioned Callum, and we completely brushed over what was last night's triumph. And that was Callum as wheels on the gantry.
Oh my God, you're right.
Wake up in the morning feeling kind of uneasy. I gotta go to school. Yes, he was channeling wheels from Degrassi High, junior high, hard. Or that was more high than junior high.
More high.
Yeah, so I'm thinking Reese is the snake
100%.
of the group because he's just like really tall but really nice. Yeah. And we all remember, even though... Snake had to overcome some homophobia. I think Reese would be completely okay with that.
Reese is fine. He'll go over that. He's over that.
Yeah. And I was trying to think about which of the contestants would be Joey Jeremiah, and part of me's like, is it Khan? I'm like, no, because he would not want to go all the way with Stephanie Kay. Andy, on the other hand, if Stephanie Kay was... an older woman,
then yes,
not a teenager.
Would go all the way.
Yes, would go all the way.
Would go all the way with Stephanie Kay.
Or at least had the potential to.
Would go part of the way at least with Stephanie Kay.
Yeah.
Would track the way with Stephanie Kay.
Yeah.
No,
essentially.
Yes.
And as long as she was an older woman.
Let us know our casting for Degrassi Junior High or Degrassi High, whichever you want to go with. Who is what character? And if you don't know what Degrassi is, go watch it first.
Yeah.
It's out. It's there. It's available. It's on the flicks of the net.
I did a rewatch of it a few years ago.
You did.
It stands up. I really enjoyed it. I got a lot more out of it, actually.
Yeah, you learned a lot more lessons about life.
I know how to put on a condom now, thanks to Lucy in a pool.
It's about time. It's about time.
Thanks, Lucy.
So.
She was my favourite character. I really liked
So the pairings.
Spike. Liz was a bitch though, but now rewatching, I'm like, oh my god, Liz had so many like she was a feminist. She was I was just there for it. So yeah.
So again, tell us who you would cast from MasterChef in Degrassi Junior High or Degrassi High, whichever you want to prefer. And again, save it all for the Degrassi Rewatch Pod. So the pairings were Amelia and Callum, Khan, Laura, Tessa, Reynolds, Sarah, Brendan, Reese, Poe.
Yes.
I looked at that immediately and I thought Amelia and Callum were kind of probably for me the best pairing that was there.
Yeah.
And Khan and Laura are also a really good pairing. And you can see Khan on Twitter was just deliriously happy with the fact that he had Laura. And in the show when they paired them, Khan was looking at, oh my god, I got Laura.
Yeah, and I'm just going, they're both loud. And they both say what they see.
It was cool too because they had the sous chef, head chef idea going.
Yep, head chef, sous chef, red chef, blue chef,
and it worked really well. I felt for poor Amelia because she was trying to get information over the top of the shelves, and of course she's not very tall.
No,
I was saying climate, and Reynolds had the perfect idea. Reynolds didn't care; he was up over the shelves, and at one point, Reynolds has his true calling. We think.
Yeah.
So forget the idea of Reynolds as dessert king or whatever else you view Reynolds as. Reynolds has a future in puppetry.
His hand over the top, like when he's going, two. I'm like now waiting for it to turn into a snake.
Happy Healthy Harold needs people to take up that program.
Reynolds.
Now,
Happy Healthy Reynolds.
Now, interestingly enough, this actually relates to on the weekend. My brother pointed out that he's found a company that will make him a Happy Healthy Harold puppet.
Unfortunately, it's licensed, so he can't.
I want an animatronic one because we had the animatronic Happy Healthy Harold.
Did you go to the terrace house in the city though?
No,
we actually went to the terrace.
They brought
house
the caravan to us.
Oh no, we went to this kind of it was like decked out, and you go into different rooms and stuff. You got to walk through the giant intestine. It was very.
I wanted to walk through a giant intestine.
I know.
I still do.
Make poop jokes.
I still do.
Yeah.
Can we organise that for this weekend?
And very. Sorry?
Can I walk through a giant intestine this weekend?
Look, knock yourself out.
Sweet.
Sure.
I feel like I'm in inner space now. It's going to be injected into a body and go through. I'm making vague references. We're down the rabbit hole.
Just go walk through the Houses of Parliament. Ching.
They're not allowed in there because they're not. Ching. Anyway, moving on. We're sort of going all over the place here because how the hell do you follow the flow of this challenge? Yeah. The answer is you don't.
There's a lot of yelling, and as we spoke to Aram in the past, and he's made it clear that
you can't
hear.
You can't pick anything up. It's absolutely impossible. A couple of notes out of this challenge is, first of all, we said it before, this is not the challenge to be paired with Poe. And people were talking about the idea of the Poe in peril, and I went, no, it's a Reese in peril narrative. But they're together, and I went, I know they're together. But Reese was put in peril.
I love Poe, but I found myself just getting exasperated, and whenever she's paired up with someone and their fate relies on her.
That's terrible.
That is one of the things, and it's something that just comes with the MasterChef field. I can't even think of the saying. It's but par for the course in MasterChef that you're going to be in a group challenge or something that if you all don't work together well as a team and the other team does better, you're just going to be in an elimination.
Yeah.
So it's going to come down to them actually as individuals tomorrow night, and that's what I'm okay with.
I kind of feel like it was not too bad that Simon went home because I feel like Simon would have ended up being the Aram of this challenge.
Simon!
I feel like he would have been that. What?
I actually think he would have done very well in this challenge.
It's really interesting to see. It depends who we got paired up with, obviously.
Yeah. If you got paired up with Poe, no chance.
No, not a hope. Whoever got paired with Poe had no hope. I wonder what would have happened if they paired Poe and Reynolds together. One of them doesn't communicate, and one of them can't communicate because she doesn't know what she's doing.
Well, Reynolds started really well and strong and had good leadership skills, but then Reynolds is a deep thinker, and he went into his head, and Tessa's like, Reynolds, what's going on? And that was showed in their dish. And
it was the moment where he goes, so I'm just sautéing.
And she's like, what?
When did we agree to sauté the sweet potato? I don't remember that conversation. I think I'm almost hear Riddle going, did I say that out loud? I don't think I said that out loud. The phrase that I never thought I would hear on Australian television was all of this conversation around heroing celeriac. And in particular, where Sarah Tiong utters the phrase, do you think we've heroed the celeriac enough?
Now, usually we see it as a schmear or a puree.
Well, it's usually a puree.
Yeah. Pair that pork with the celeriac puree. That's usually what it is.
With a schmear.
A schmear.
Schmear.
And a gravel. What's it called?
A gravel.
The soil. A soil.
It's a gravel now.
It's a gravel.
Before we get into any more, let's quickly go through the drinking game. So I could be going home misled. We didn't have that.
No.
Matcha. Was there matcha last night?
No. There was yuzu.
There was yuzu. I didn't have yuzu on. I did have matcha. Vespa. We did see the Vespa. Melissa makes the audience feel better about themselves. She did that within 5 minutes last night.
Stop.
Yeah. The 10-shot mega square this week, our new innovation, which I'm really looking forward to coming true, because it's the gantry sings something from a musical.
Yes, because, they're now in COVID lockdown. People are going to be going crazy.
Yep.
So I'm expecting more crazy shit to happen.
Also, they're all standing distant from each other.
Yes.
This has Seasons of Love from Rent written all over it.
One day more.
It's either going to be that, or it's going to be 925,600 minutes. And I hate that song, by the way.
It's in the office.
Kingfish. Didn't happen. Not yet. Last week, fucking as far as the eye can see.
Yep.
Granita.
Yep.
Happened tonight. Hibachis, they did happen. Not as
they weren't prominent, though.
Regular as they should have been. Contestant makes something they made in their first season. Not yet, but the week is young.
Yes.
The week is young.
3 more days.
Yes, 3 more days.
3 days more.
Another day, another history. So I'm now seeing like Cole Wilkinson doing, All right. Scallion pancakes.
I'm down for those.
I'm always here for scallion pancakes.
Look, I don't care if they're a little bit... they were just twins with a different hair dye.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, the one twin had gained more celeriac than the other.
That was a bit of a problem. So we had the scallion pancakes. I have no issue with scallion pancakes. I love scallion pancakes. We had a couple of things that I'm fitting in more and more into these episodes, which is Masterchef out of context.
Yes.
So my 3 Masterchef out of context phrases today were Sarah Tiong going, mine's 14 centimetres. That was the first. The second was Khan's, I'm juicing, yelled back across. And the third was Reese's, Poe, I'm filling my tart. And I think we need to get that going as well. I think we need to, by the end of the series, what I would like is I'd like on Twitter for people to just put together random Masterchef without context quotes. They shouldn't be any longer than, 6 words. They can be punchy. And do not ever provide anyone with the context of how they were said or why they were said.
Just what's there.
The answer is whatever was said, run with it.
Yep.
So we had Khan and Laura, who made a dish that the judges really liked, but it was peas. So that was a bit of a problem. We had Brendan Pang and Sarah Tiong. Now, we said too much celeriac in Sarah's.
It was Mama Bear and Papa Bear.
Yeah,
really.
and the colorisation was different on the pancakes. At this point, they announced that Sarah. At this point, Melissa turns around and says, Brendan. He's the guy with the pancakes." I'm like, when the fuck did Brendan Pang become the guy with the pancakes? Isn't he Dumpling King?
It's like, Brandon started the pancake.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Where are we at? Did he start the fire?
Yeah. Which one did he do? Yeah. Amelia and Callum, their dish looked really good. That granita looked real. I don't like granitas, but that one looked good.
That looks pleasant.
Then we had the tarts. Now, Poe was... you're in trouble when Poe is talking your dish down on the way up. And the voiceover on the way up, she's like, I'm fairly certain that we didn't brulee this properly, and it's my brulee's probably melted. Because when she was talking about, we're not going to brulee this, and then as she's saying that in the voiceover, they cut to the bit in the episode where Reese goes, we're bruleeing now. And rather than yell out, don't, she just stayed there quietly and let him do it, and then went, oh shit, stop him.
Yeah.
Like, go, Reese. No. Don't brulee. I repeat, stop the brulee.
Yeah.
We then had, obviously, Tessa and Reynolds, and they looked vastly different.
Yeah.
I think it was probably really close.
Yeah,
I think they were close to the edge.
But the flavour obviously got them through. Because it was, and you could see it, like at the beginning, Reynolds was really talkative and very vocal, and towards the end he just got in his own head and wasn't communicating.
Exactly. So tomorrow night in the elimination, in the pressure test, we are going to have Poe.
Yes.
We are going to have Brendan Pang. We are also going to have Reese, and we are going to have Sarah Tiong.
Yep.
I'm not happy with this.
No.
I'm really not. But at this point in time, it's very hard to be happy with anything.
Yeah, like someone you like's going to go
exactly. Also, I do want to just comment at the end. They spent the entire judging talking about the many, 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 many issues with these dishes, followed by Jock saying, "You all smashed it."
I just felt there wasn't enough
Jock
recognition that, considering they couldn't see each other, they were just verbalising, it was done pretty darn well.
Yeah, they don't have... The thing is, they don't have to lie. They can say, look, there were problems, but considering the circumstances, you did really well. Just going, you all smashed it, after saying, oh, there's been problems here. Just one clarifying word. Just go, look, considering you couldn't see each other and you're yelling over the top of a wall, not bad.
Yeah. Not too bad.
So that's going to do it for this episode. Next on Thursday we will be back with another episode. Hopefully the challenges again. We had a bit this week, but overall, like the challenge tonight, there's not a lot of to talk about because it's literally just everyone yelling, and we could keep yelling, but you wouldn't really like that on the podcast. So until Thursday, I'm still Chris,
and I'm still Kristie.
We'll catch you later.
Boil that bloody broccoli.